There's the Motor City here for the Detroit Lions Live Cure Auto Insurance post-game show. Detroit hosting the Denver Broncos today. And there you see it, the final score, 42-17 here in Week 15. Detroit Lions improve to 10-4 on the season. 10 wins sure do sound good. One game closer to clinching a playoff spot and everything in front of these Detroit Lions. Alongside Lomas Brown, I'm Dannie Rogers. Thanks for tuning in for a pretty good game. We were just talking about it, Lomas.
Yeah.
You don't think there was a category these Detroit Lions did not excel at tonight?
Danny, nothing jumped out at the big fella. It was a clean game, which we love. I thought we played very good from the start to the finish. Maybe a little lull coming out of the halftime, but other than that, I thought we were clean. I thought we kept our foot on their necks, and we did what we needed to do, Danny, which was come out here and take care of business.
Head coach Campbell wanted to do just that
That's right.
against his mentor and his former boss. Head coach Sean Payton was Dan Campbell's head coach in New Orleans for 5 seasons when he was there as an assistant. Could you sense how big of a game this was to Coach Campbell?
Oh yeah, yes. He you know you want this, especially going against your mentor. Again, Danny, he was mine and Dan Campbell's offensive coordinator back in 2000, 2001 when we were together. So we knew how Sean Payton was. He was aggressive back then, and he's aggressive now. So I was very glad to see Dan Campbell kind of get the upper hand on this old boss.
Coach Campbell came into the week saying Sean Payton's probably going to try to hang 50 points on these Detroit Lions.
He would have, too.
He would have. He could not.
That's
that
right.
offense, Russell Wilson leading it, could not get into much of a rhythm today. They've always been coined as very efficient. But this Detroit Lions defense, they came out guns blazing. Let's look at the final stats here today. Like I mentioned, there was not a category Detroit didn't excel at. Detroit beat Denver in every single thing here tonight, just inching out time of possession by about 3 minutes. But you take a look, there were only 25 rushing yards for Denver in the first half. This Detroit Lions defense was stout, only allowing Russell Wilson, 204 passing yards. Jared Goff's numbers, they're going to stick out to you. They're going to jump off the page here when we highlight him. But at the bottom, I see Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That's right.
Back into that 100 receiving yard category.
We love that, Danny. Like we said, we could just basically write 100 yards next to his name because that seems to be the mark he does. But the guy's just so good, And it seems like every time he steps out on this field, he's either getting close to a record, breaking a record, or something's going on with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Just 70 receiving yards for St. Brown over the last 2 games. So he is getting back on track. Caught a touchdown, one of them coming from Jared Goff, who threw 5 touchdowns on the day.
Danny, any doubt? I think it needs to be a race. I mean, that's what good players do in this league. They have bad games. They have subpar games, and then they come back and have great games like Jared did today. I thought he controlled the whole game. I thought he controlled his emotion. He controlled this offense all game long. Jared was great today. Didn't put the ball up in harm's way. He did everything he needed to do to make sure we came out with the victory today.
5 passing touchdowns is the most for Goff on the season. That passer rating, 134.6, jumps off the page. Goff typically averages about 68% completion. He's over that today, about 71%. 24 completions on the day, and about every time he threw the ball, it went for 8.2. That is his highest passer rating, by the way, so far this season. And like you said, the last 4 weeks, it was a lull. The Detroit Lions, even when they won, it didn't really feel like a win.
Yeah,
and typically it's based off your quarterback play. He was turning the ball over a few times, and now he shows up, takes down the Denver Broncos.
Clean.
Very clean.
Danny, clean. He executed. We executed. We got in the red zone. We put 7 up when we got in the red zone. Our defense kept them out the red zone pretty much most of the game, but when they had to turn it up in the red zone, our defense was able to do that. So I'm just so proud of Jared because it hadn't been an easy week for Jared.
No.
I've been hearing all the things everybody's been saying about Jared, and for him to just kind of wash that off, come out and put the performance that he did today, that says a lot for Jared Goff.
It certainly helps when you get your starting O-line back
That's
for just
right.
the 4th time all of this season. Head coach Dan Campbell is standing by at the podium. Let's hear from him.
That was a hot team. That was one of the hottest teams in the NFL coming in, and which I was not surprised by, knowing Coach Payton what he's done with them over there. And obviously, I can't say enough great things about Coach. And they're in good hands over there. They're in good hands. That team plays hard, and they play smart football. And we needed to do what we needed to do today, and I was proud of our guys. Questions?
It's a question. You guys needed a bounce back. I think you did more than bounce back. What was the key to all the success on offense today?
We just needed to win, and we did that today. And look, we just cleaned up a couple of things, and focused on our job at hand, the details of it. And honestly, we didn't start real hot early. We didn't, and we can't do that. We can't accept that. Not with where we're going. But we got out of it. Defense played well and found our rhythm. I thought Goff played a really good game. A number of guys did. The O-line played their rears off, and everybody in there, played big for us. But we got to start faster than that. So it was good, and it's a good win, man.
You never wanted this week to be about you and Sean, but ultimately was a storyline that we were all watching. Is it any sweeter to beat your mentor? You said he wanted to come and put 50 on you. Is it sweet that you were able to almost do that to him?
Look, anytime, whenever, you have somebody you respect like I do him, and you've learned everything from, and in essence, you're doing the same things that he does with your own team. It feels good. But it's also, man, the ability for our team to win against somebody of his stature, Super Bowl winning coach, does it right. Yeah, that's good. That's a good win, man. Because I know what he's about. So, that I'm happy for our guys, that we got a W here when we needed it. Get to 10, and now we got 3 to go.
We talk about each other in the field.
We love each other, man. It's my guy, and I love him, and always will.
You talk about the slow start offensively. The defense really held down the fort during that stretch.
Who's that? I'm sorry.
You talked about the slow start offensively for you guys, but your defense held down the fort.
Yeah.
While you guys are struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Take the footing. Just their performance overall, helping scoreless in the first half. One of the better performances by those guys.
Yeah, defense did a really good job today. I thought AG called a heck of a game. We had a couple of wrinkles in that we felt like would be good for us, and really they were. The takeaway that we got, that was something we haven't done. It's been a long time since we have, so we were able to get pressure in his face and trap it on the outside, and so we were able to come away with that takeaway. So I just thought we were well prepared, knew what we had a real good feeling of what we were going to get here. We knew who we had to take care of. We couldn't let Sutton get going. We couldn't let him launch them. Handle this run game. And we did. So the defense showed up. I thought we were able to get pressure. The front played really well today. Certainly our back end. It was the ultimate team win. But yeah, defense started it out for us. Took the ball there, wanted to go down and score. We didn't do that, but the defense, man, they held up there and were able to get us the ball back.
You've been looking for a formula to get that defense on track. You made some personnel changes the last couple of weeks in the back end. Melifano, Dorsey, Vildor, they all gave you some big moments today. What is it about, I guess? What would you see to kind of make those moves and how you like the early results?
Yeah, look, practice. It's practice. We practice full speed. We work, we compete, and so you get a pretty good idea of what you think some of these players can do, and then you go with it. You trust your gut and you go with it. And we felt like that was the right move. And Iffy's continued to grow. And look, Iffy, his thing really has been the durability. Well, he's been healthy, man. He's been able to stay on the field, and his body's holding up. And he's a smart, athletic, physical player. He's got length and range, and him back there with Kirby. Look, we're getting better. We're getting better. And same deal, man, with Vildor and Doris. Give them a shot out there on the outside edge. It just makes us – we felt like it made us better. Give them a chance to go, and now we get Jerry back on teams as well because he's Jerry's a good special teams player now, as a gunner and a jammer. So, and so we just we keep working through it, give these guys an opportunity and let them compete. And we were good today. Those guys played well on the back end.
One other DB, you're something against Cortland.
Yeah, showed up, did well, and Cam's a crafty guy, smart player, and we felt good about that. And certainly we had some help over the top at times, but I thought he certainly accepted that challenge. That's not something he's going to shy away from. And I thought he kept him in check. It was really good, man. That honestly, that was the big concern. I just mentioned again, these shot plays. You could play great for most of the game, and all of a sudden you give up one of those, and you're in trouble. So we did well.
And a number of teams get the 10 wins, but they don't get there the same way necessarily. So when your team is playing well, what do you see as the characteristics of, like, when the game starts getting going? How do you know, oh, yeah, this is how the Lions, this is how this team wins games? What are the things that you specifically?
Man, I just feel like when we're efficient on first and second down, offensively and defensively, when we're getting those chunk runs, we're getting, you're getting 5-6 yards a pop early, 7 yards, 8. In our defense, we're getting these. All right, now they're in second 10, they're in second and 8. You just kind of feel like, all right, here we go. This is the type of game that we need to play, we want to play. It feels good. The third downs are manageable here. The third downs are longer on defense, and I think when it happens early and often, you get a really good feeling about it.
Before
you played your game, the Vikings lost. Now that you won, you're close to clinching a bunch of things.
Somebody got a text message up here. Keep going. You guys want me to read that?
No, please.
I'm listening. How do we continue? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're getting close to clinching some things now. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, look, man, this is about to be a tough environment. Going on the road at Minnesota, they got an outstanding defense. They've changed a couple of things up offensively, just watching crossover tape. So this is not going to be easy. Defending North champs from last year. But, man, we wouldn't have it any other way. Go out there on the road, tough environment, man, and we got a chance to get the next one. So, man, we're going to be looking forward to it. I know I am, and I know our guys will. So we did what we needed to do today against a hot team to get to 10 wins, and now we got to find a way to get to 11.
Last question.
You guys, your team, has some of the traits that are needed this time of year. I'm thinking specifically running the ball.
What do you think?
Home crowd advantage.
What do you think?
I assume that's why you put it together.
Yeah, we have traits. We have the traits to be able to play a number of different ways, And we've got an offensive line. We got a quarterback. We got a defense that I think plays disruptive, can play disruptive, and the only thing that's missing for us right now is getting these turnovers in bunches, and it's coming. I believe it. It's coming. We got one today. We held on to the football, and man, that's the formula. So we got some backs. I mean, I feel like we got a little bit of everything. And look, this game is about matchups. It's about matchups, and so the next matchup is out at Minnesota. We got to find a way to, to find those, just like they're going to try to do against us, and come out of there with a W. But that's what this time of year is about. December and certainly playoffs is about the matchups.
One more quick one, last one, personnel. Maybe switch a kicker today. Is that something that you're looking to make permanent, or is it a temporary thing for whatever reason?
Yeah, this is they've been competing now for about 5 weeks. Before the Chargers. So this was something we wanted to do, give Badge a go with Riley, and they've been battling it out, and he won it for this game. It just was right, and it's been that way for a while, and it was the right move, and so we're going to go there. Got a lot of faith in Badgley.
Just one real quick one. You had two rookies do some really good things on offense today, but Laporta set some franchise records, or franchise record for most touchdowns by rookie tight end. Just his game, the word on his game, maybe, and the continued growth that he shows.
He goes without saying he's doing a really good job. And I would say this, if you see the kid, when you watch him in meetings, All right, you watch him out at practice, the walkthrough, the way he works. He reminds me of St. Brown in that manner. Very much the same way, just how he goes about it. And he is highly competitive. He gets in games like this and he shows up now, and he's got this competitive edge about him, you know. And so I'm not surprised by that. He just keeps getting better and better, and so does Gibbs. Gibbs is just getting better and better. So, you know, I'm just going to bring it back to Brad Holmes. It's a hell of a job by him once again, you know. Took a lot of criticism for those 2 picks, but they look like they're okay. So I'm glad we got them.
All right, thanks, guys. Love Jared.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
See ya.
TDs shy of your career total, Ben.
What's that?
Saint, great game. Is that the best catch you've ever made?
Actually, there was one better.
When? The Chicago game?
Minnesota?
No, getting Cure Auto Insurance.
Are you for real?
Seriously, when I got here in Michigan, car insurance was the worst. But saving up to 40% by switching to Cure was my best catch.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to cure.com to see how you can save. Welcome back to the Detroit Lions Live post-game show. That's Lomas Brown. I'm Dannie Rogers. You heard head coach Dan Campbell talk about safety Ifeatu Melifonwu. Melifonwu in year 3 with the Detroit Lions. Former third-round pick, drafted as a cornerback. He had his first full season as a safety last year. Now he's really coming into his own. Campbell mentioned it. Melifonwu has not been healthy. His durability has been the biggest issue. When Melifonwu was healthy, back-to-back starts for him, he makes an impact.
Danny, he was all over the field today. I mean, he was all over the field early and often today. We called his name so much, but that was so great to see him make an impact play. And normally you don't want to see your safety have that many tackles. But again, all these tackles he was towards the line of scrimmage. He was penetrating, getting these tackles. He did a great job of navigating through those big guys up front and being able to bring those guys down. I thought he had a phenomenal game today.
Melifonwu came in with 11 total tackles on the season so far in 13 games and tacks on 8 total tackles. His first full career sack and forced fumble, which really set the tone in the first quarter, Lomas.
Absolutely, Danny. You're right about that. And that's what we've been missing, Danny. We've been missing these guys, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Remember, we had got spoiled for a while. They were getting us turnovers and turnovers and turnovers. It kind of went away for a little bit. But now, Aaron Glenn, he turned the pressure up today. He was sending guys off the edges. He was sending guys through the A and B gaps. He made sure he put pressure on Russell Wilson today, and it paid off for us.
If Ifeatu Melifonwu coming into that secondary, they really are changing things up in the secondary. You saw Kendall Vildor get some snaps. Khalil Dorsey was out there in the secondary as well. It seems like who they're going with right now is working.
Best man up. That's how you have to do it, Danny. At this point of the year, you want to play your best players, and that's what Aaron Glenn, that's what Dan Campbell are doing. They're not looking at numbers. They're not looking at positions. They're looking at the best guy to be out there on that field, and that's what you have to have. And it was good to see all those guys get run and make plays.
Coach Dan Campbell mentioned Cameron Sutton, who is the veteran leader in that secondary. He mentioned him being crafty. You don't hear his name called all the time, but he's so steady and reliable. What'd you see from Sutton tonight?
Yeah, he was great on coverage today, Danny. He had a couple of opportunities where he had some pass breakups, but he was in the vicinity of the wide receivers. The last couple of weeks, man, their wide receivers, there's been a lot of separation between our defensive backs and the opposing team's wide receivers. It wasn't that day. They wasn't that way today. We were on top of those guys. They made some nice defensive pass defenses. They did everything they needed to do in that secondary to make sure Cortland Sutton, Jerry Judy, and those guys didn't have a big game against us.
Jerry Jacobs, but you're close.
Thank you.
Let's go back. Let's go back to Ifeatu Melifonwu real quick because he had our play of the game. Let's not break it down quickly. Let's take this all in. First quarter, going back to that sack strip of the game. This remind you is Melifonwu's first full sack in his career. There he is. Look at the big guy, Isaiah Buggs, picking up that ball. He'd run it over 30 yards back the other way. So getting that takeaway was just massive. And Melifonwu, he came out guns blazing. He shot out of a cannon to get to Russell Wilson on this one.
And I'm telling you, it's Aaron Glenn putting them in position to have success like that, lining them up there, send them on blitzes. And the other good thing they did, Danny, they disguised it pretty well today. Normally, we'll show guys what we're going to do. I thought they did a good job of disguising the blitzes today, and you're right. So let me ask you this. How fast do you think the big man got up to? What MPHs did you think he got up to?
I'd say a solid 18 miles per hour.
You say a solid 18.
Solid 18.
All right, okay.
I wouldn't put him under 9 miles per hour. I'd say between 9 and 18. I'm just thinking of Jamison Williams running 23, and I'm like, all right, maybe he wasn't running 18. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this big guy. He gets his own graphic today, Mr. Buggs.
I love
He's
it.
been in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
We know this, but perhaps solidified his role on that interior here tonight. 33 fumble return yards. First career fumble recovery for the big guy. Registered 2 total tackles, 1 assist, 1 solo tackle. Remind you, he's doing this without Ali McNeil, who has been put on
Danny.
IR. How are they doing up there up front?
Those stats, they don't do him justice. The other little things that he did today, keeping double teams off of the linebackers, being gapped. And there you go. Thank you, Danny. Having his gap integrity. He did a lot of things, pursuing from the backside. He did a lot of things that don't show up in the stat column, but he did a lot of good things today, along with the rest of the defense. I thought the defense played with their hair on fire. They were all over the place. They brought friends to the party, meaning they were gang tackling guys. So it was great. It was really great to see our defense get back to what we were accustomed to seeing them play early in the year.
Let's go back to Ifeatu Melifonwu. I caught up with him post-game to get his reaction on his back-to-back starts for these Detroit Lions. Earlier this week, your head coach, Dan Campbell, said that this defense needed to get its swagger back. You helped with that early on, a strip sack that led to a fumble recovery. How did this Detroit defense get back on track?
I think the main focus was just assignment and technique, and the rest will take care of itself. And I think that's what we did. Play fast, assignment, technique, and that's what happens when we do that.
Your defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, gave you a chance to start last week. He followed up in the same direction this week. Your career here in Detroit piled up with injuries. How have you been able to work yourself into the starting lineup and get through that adversity?
Just faith. I feel like in my position it would be easy to lose faith with the injuries I had back to back to back, but I always had faith in myself. I had trust in God, and I knew what I could do when I'm healthy, and I feel like now I'm just starting to show that.
You're healthy, and you're helping this Detroit Lions team to 10 wins on the season. Playoffs are looming. How do you continue to solidify yourself in making history with this team?
I don't know. I try not to think big picture. I just go to work every day, do my job, try to get better. I started out as a corner, so every day I'm just learning new things about playing safety. So I'm just trying to do my 1% and get better.
What did you learn about yourself tonight then?
Well, I don't think I learned anything new. This is stuff I knew I could do. I always had faith in myself, my family, my teammates. So I don't think I learned anything new, to be honest.
Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you.
Defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn said he was going in the direction of Melifonwu this week. I think he goes in the direction coming up against the Vikings as well.
A big physical guy like him, he loves to hit people. That's that physical presence that he brings out there on the field, and he's good in coverage. So yes, I could see him getting a lot more playing time for us.
And Melifonwu even has a mini club on his hand because he was just dealing with a hand injury. That's why he hasn't played in every game this season. Another player that has succumbed to a lot of injuries in their NFL career is defensive lineman Josh Paschal. Just in his second career season, he didn't play all the games this year either because he was placed on IR earlier this season with a knee injury. However, he comes out tonight, captures his third career sack, first of the season, and he made his presence known tonight. What did you see from Paschal up front?
Oh, man, love him. So Right now, Danny, that's Joshua.
Ah.
I'm going with the government man because, hey, he played like a grown man today. He did a nice job on that field, and we've been waiting for this out of Josh. And like you say, it's so shameful that injuries have robbed him of what he can potentially be out there on the field. And he gives you glimpses of it, and you get so excited about him. But like I say, he was a grown man today. I'm calling him Joshua, not Josh, because he played his butt off today out there on that field.
I'll make sure I inform him that he's
Please
now
do that.
Joshua.
That's right.
Here in the football world. A leader on this Detroit Lions defense who needed a bounce back game is linebacker Alex Anzalone. He was subbed out a few times last week after picking up some penalties. He was not going to do that again today. However, just one defensive pass interference on him. I think Kirby Joseph might have pushed him in there a little bit, but Anzalone knows he needs to turn his head. Regardless,
Right.
Anzalone leads the team in tackles. He typically does every game. He's so consistent. 2 quarterback hits, passes defended. That means he was everywhere tonight.
Yes, he was, Danny. I think he went over 100 tackles again in his career. Undoubtedly, our leader on the defensive side of the ball. Again, like I always say, he's the guy that wears the green dot. He's the guy responsible for lining these guys up. He's responsible for the calls that come in, and he's been doing a great job playing at a Pro Bowl level all year long. So Alex did another great job today, double-figure tackles. But look, Danny, we expect that out of him. We've come to expect this out of Alex Anzalone.
I agree. Anzalone only needing 4 tackles today to reach that 100 career tackle for the season milestone. All right, let's go to our player of the game. Who do you think it is tonight?
Is it Sam Laporta?
It's not, but you can make a case. Listen. Jared Goff has his highest passer rating of the season.
You're right.
Throws 5 passing touchdowns. You're right. 2 of them to the rookie Sam Laporta. 3 more touchdowns. I was going to say 2 more to Jahmyr Gibbs, but Gibbs did capture his first receiving touchdown here tonight for the rookie, which has been outstanding. You said Goff had a bounce back game.
Yes,
he followed up a couple of games that were not up to his par with a great game.
Yes, he did.
What was the number one thing that stuck out to you about Goff?
I think it's calmness, Danny, because again, everybody know if you get pressure on Jared, he doesn't see the field like he normally sees it. First of all, give the O-line a lot of credit. They kept him clean, but Jared didn't panic today. Even when things wasn't going right, even when we weren't moving the ball like we needed to move it at times, Jared stayed calm. He stayed collective, and that's what we become used to. He made the right plays. He made the right reads. He kept the ball clean today. No turnovers, and that's important. Keep it clean. That's what Jared did. And, they being the game manager, as he was called by somebody on TV, hey, that's not a bad thing. We'll take it. If they want to call him that, we'll take it. 5 touchdowns, I'll take a game manager.
Okay, yeah, great. Game manager, not a game changer, not a difference maker.
That's all right. 5 touchdowns,
It's
give
fine.
me a game changer.
Just whatever people want to say, they can just say it. I know.
Thank
That gets you heated.
Thank you.
That's all right.
I know.
Let's hear from QB1 Jared Goff about his performance here today.
Thought you were off track, but does it feel good to get a complete win like this?
Yeah.
Just to sort of, get things going back the right direction.
Yeah, it does. And I'm sure Dan said it in here, but he's been preaching it to us all week. Like, we are the same team we have been. The same team we were in week 1, beating Kansas City. The same team that, has had, great games on the road. Or, we're the same team. Nothing's changed. And every team goes through ups and downs and lulls. And we hit a little bit of a stumble there for maybe call it 2 or 3 weeks of certainly our offensive play. And but we're the same team. We're the same guys, the same people, the same players. And just kept reminding us that.
It took a little while to get traction offensively, but how did it feel when it started flowing on offense?
Yeah, it felt good. It felt really good. I thought we had a great plan. I thought Ben was very conceded effort to be aggressive, and that was seen early through his play calling, and we were trying to be aggressive, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome, and I think towards the middle of the game, end of the game there, he felt like he could call anything, and we were going to make it work. We were moving guys up front. We were making good plays in the pass game, and it was a good all-around effort. Yeah.
Set a rookie record, 4 touchdowns, 9.
Yeah.
You have a ton of confidence, and you guys are just right on the same page. Just talk about his numbers.
tonight and maybe Gibbs do?
Yeah, I mean, both those guys, I was thinking about it like halfway through how those two guys were such an impact as rookies. They're two of the best rookies I've ever been around. And, like, for what they handle mentally and what they do every Sunday for us and the way they practice, the way they're pros, everything, they're as good as it gets. And you see the results out here on the game day, but the work they put in and, again, how professional they both are. And it's really impressive. It really is. And obviously Sam's numbers have been pretty big this year, and he deserves it. He's playing really well. Yeah, it's been all year. You know, you've been kind of, you know, hoping for that all year, that you can get one in front of the home fans and still have games to win for us. But yeah, it'd be a lot of fun, and they've been bringing it every home game, and yeah, it would be fun. But we got some work to do.
Jared, you mentioned that every team goes through those ups and downs, things like that. What do you do? What does the team do to block out and the hand wringing from fans and things like that?
Yeah.
Kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, I think every team goes through that, but our superpower is how we respond. And it starts with Dan, and then it goes to me, and through the offense and the coordinators and the coaches, everybody. Our superpower is how we respond as a team, as a unit, as a group. We've been through a lot of adversity as a group, and a 3-game lull where we've, you know, one of 3. It's not the worst thing we've been through. So being able to bounce back is something that we've prided ourselves on, and tonight was a big one to bounce back with.
This defense for the offensive line, they just so
Yeah, they played so well. They played so well. They did their thing tonight. They put it on their back in a lot of ways, and I was sitting back there pretty comfortable for most of the night, and yeah, they played really well.
We talked about this defense committing 20 turnovers in the last 8 games, top of the league.
Yeah.
You rushed in some areas and make some quick decisions. What was the key to this to protect the football?
It's always the same thing. You know, you're aware that that's what they do, and you're aware of, I think their big stat was how many forced fumbles they have, so you're aware of it, and you're holding the ball a little tighter in traffic, but you're playing free, you're playing loose, you're letting it rip, you're not afraid. It's a good defense we just played, and we played really well against a really good defense, against a really good team. And yeah, it's a credit to the work we put in.
What's it like to do 5 straight touchdowns? I mean, where you're literally never going on, you're never punting, you just boom, touchdown. What's it like 5 straight in a row?
Feels great. Feels yeah.
Hoping for something a little deeper than great.
Yeah, no, it feels great. It's like kind of like a flow state, right? Like you get into a rhythm, and like I mentioned, sometime in the middle of that second quarter, throughout the rest of the game, it felt like Ben could have called anything, call whatever you want, and he felt that way. And it was just up and down the field, and we were running the ball well, we were throwing the ball well. I think we had the 1 3-and-out in the fourth quarter, but other than that, had a really good game.
No more guys all season.
So what?
I know we've been asking about them all season.
Yeah.
Jalen, 7 targets, 4 catches today
Yeah.
was a big factor in what you guys are doing. This and came up some big moments. Just how much better is this offense when you have just another weapon
Yeah.
to utilize
He's
and spread it around?
He's coming on. He really is. And again, it's the work and practice. It's all the extra hours and everything he's doing to deserve it. But I trust him. He's where he needs to be. He's catching the ball in tough locations, and I think it's only going to keep going up for him. The sky's the limit. He's a hell of a player. He's a hell of a kid, and he's working hard right now.
Just back to a lot of weapons. It looked like tonight you used more of them to high volume as you have all year. Was that Ben Johnson's aggressive play calling, or everybody had 100-yard receivers, 100-yard
Yeah.
running backs?
Yeah, I think it was kind of like he felt like he could call anything, and he kind of did it all night. You know, we didn't really go backwards after those first couple drives, moving the ball and play action, drop back, running game. It was all there, and it all starts with the O-line. You know, like I was saying earlier, they were playing as well as they were. It opens up a whole lot for us, and yeah, that's how the ball ends up going to however many people were targeted. Is just kind of everything's clicking.
I just want to drill on that too. Maybe what you said in this too. Ben feeling like you can call anything, you felt it natural. Do you have that conversation, and what is that like?
Yeah.
Dial up, whatever. You know,
Yeah, there's not much of a conversation. It's just he says, "I can call anything right now, and it's gonna work," and that gives us confidence. But he's saying it because of what we're doing on the field and the way we're executing and the way the O-line's playing, and that's just how he feels. And when you get a play caller to say that, it feels pretty good.
You said that on the headset or on the sit?
He just tells all of us all the time, yeah, if he feels that way.
And listen, just with Dan, you think this game, how much did it mean for Dan?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it meant more to him just for our team to get number 10, certainly. But I know there's, part of him it's special. That was his guy for so long, a mentor to him, I'm sure, in some ways. And, anytime you can get one against the guy who kind of taught you a lot, it's special.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Saint, great game. Is that the best catch you've ever made?
Actually, there was one better.
When? The Chicago game?
Minnesota?
No, getting Cure Auto Insurance.
Are you for real?
Seriously, when I got here in Michigan, car insurance was the worst. But saving up to 40% by switching to Cure was my best catch.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to cure.com to see how you can save. We'll talk about that guy you just saw on your screen here soon, Amon-Ra St. Brown. First, second-year wide receiver Jameson Williams gained a lot of love from his quarterback, Jared Goff, saying he trusts Williams, that Williams is catching the ball in difficult locations. Jameson coming off a no reception game against Chicago, only targeted twice. Here tonight, 7 targets for 4 receptions, 47 receiving yards. His longest catch of the day goes for 18. Goff said he's trusting Williams. How can you see that trust play out on the field?
Danny, he is making some fantastic catches. I thought today he made 2 very tough catches, and that's when the trust comes in from your quarterback. When the quarterback sees you go up and make a play for him, when he knows you're doing everything you can to make sure you catch the ball or keeping other people from catching the ball. Those are the little things the quarterback looks for and feels comfortable in doing. And I could tell each and every game, man, he's getting more and more comfortable with J-Mo, and J-Mo's proven to him that he needs the ball in his hands. He wants the ball in his hand, and that's a good thing.
Williams has a really great leader and veteran to look up to, and it's Amon-Ra St. Brown in that receiving room. St. Brown, just 5 receptions for 70 receiving yards over the last 2 games. Tonight, he's back.
It is.
7 receptions, good enough for 112 receiving yards. 29 was the longest on the day. And St. Brown gets back into the end zone. It feels like when St. Brown is on, this offense is back.
And Danny, when he's on early too, that was the thing that I noticed the most, was that Jared went to him early in the game, and he got completions to him early in the game. And we talked about that. Jared seems to be a different quarterback when he gets to Amon-Ra early in the game. Amon-Ra, again, is a guy that's just so unique in the way he's able to get open. He seems to be open versus man defense, zone defense. It just doesn't matter. This guy gets himself open, comes up with the catches, and does the necessary things that he has to do to make sure this team is successful.
7 games of 100-plus receiving yards for St. Brown. Only 4 other wide receivers have done that in Detroit Lions history. Let's go to the run game. Rookie Jahmyr Gibbs. He's one of the rookies Dan Campbell was just talking about, along with tight end Sam Laporta, about Brad Holmes getting a little bit of heat this past draft. Well, those rookies are showing up, and they are producing. Jahmyr Gibbs, check this out, 100 rushing yards on the dot. Longest rush of the day for 34 yards. His yards after contact are outstanding. Why is he playing at such an elite level in just his first year?
Danny, I love the yards after contact, but you say, but look at that average, 9.1 yards every time he touches the ball. OMG. If you could get a running back that's averaging 9 yards a carry, I mean, the sky's the limit. And he's getting better and better each and every game. You know who I give a lot of credit to, like I told you before, is David Montgomery. I think David, him watching David, seeing what David doing, learning from a veteran like that, I think you don't have the choice but to get better and better. And you could see it each and every carry with Jahmyr Gibbs. He's more patient. He lets his blocks develop in front of him. So he's been doing a great job. And he's been all right in pass blocking too. And that's something that's hard for a rookie running back to come in and do. Love the way he's been playing.
Gibbs now leads all running backs in yards per carry with 5.8. That's not all rookie running backs. That is all running backs in the NFL. He captured that here tonight. Let's talk about the other rookie, tight end Sam Laporta. 3 touchdowns tonight. Not bad for the rookie.
Yes, career night. He got a lot of balls to take home, Danny. He really does. This young man here, talking about staying in the end zone. The end zone is his friend, Danny. I mean, the guy's just a great player, young player. I mean, again, he can catch the ball. He can run after he catches the ball. But again, the other thing that impresses me the most about him is his ability to block too. He's an inline blocker. He could block out on the end of the line of scrimmage. He could block between the tackles. They line him up at fullback. It's like, what doesn't this or what can't this guy do being such a young player? So I'm so impressed with Sam Laporta, and he's only going to get better.
No, you're right. The staff keeps asking themselves every week, what can Sam Laporta not do?
Yeah.
They haven't figured it out yet.
Good. That's good. Give him some more stuff, Danny.
Laporta now is the all-time leading touchdown rookie tight end for the Detroit Lions.
That's awesome.
So he holds that mark. That is history for him. A big game next week. Head coach Dan Campbell has already mentioned it. It's an NFC North foe, Minnesota Vikings, in Week 16 for the first time this season. So they only get 1 week break before they face the Vikings twice in 3 games. There's some scenarios we need to talk about.
Okay.
How can the Lions clinch the NFC North next week?
Danny, just take care of business. That's all they have to do. That's the simplest path to get into the playoffs, get into an NFC North championship or division championship, is to just win your games. Win your games. You won't have to worry about nobody trying to do your dirty work for you. You'll be in there. So that's all they have to do is just keep winning. But it's going to be tough, Danny. I mean, I'm saying this right now, but it's going to be another tough, hard-nosed game against a Minnesota Viking team that probably wants to spoil our year.
They probably do.
Yeah,
Detroit only needs to beat the Vikings one time.
Just do it.
Just one out of
Let's
those
do
2
it
times.
next week, Danny. Can we just do it
I
next
know.
week and get it out the way?
I love the scenario that someone said. It was breaking news today. Backup quarterback Teddy Bridgewater says he will retire after this season. You told Dave Burkett that. So that is the breaking news of the day. One scenario was, Detroit Lions clinch NFC North, and clinch some more stuff going into Vikings Week 18. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater goes up against the team he was drafted to. Why not?
Like
that was the scenario I really liked today.
You just spiced up that soup a little bit. I like that. Throwing a little spice
to
out there.
Tune in.
I like it, Danny.
I like it too. I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
Bridgewater.
That would be good. And of course, us coming out with the victory too.
That too.
Yes,
There
you go.
it's all good things. All right, Lomas, what are your final takeaways from this Week 15 win?
Final takeaway, the Detroit Lions did what they needed to do. They defeated the Denver Broncos at home in a convincing way. It was a clean game. Jared had a great game out there today. The offense did what they needed to do, but you know who especially stepped up was our defense. They did a phenomenal job today. That's why we're 10 and what? 10 and 4?
10 and 4.
Ooh, that sounds good. Yes.
Doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
19
Danny.
wins in back-to-back seasons. Wow. The most in franchise history. Dan Campbell putting it on him.
My man.
Is he your man?
That's my guy. My guy.
I love it. All right, we are wrapping up the Detroit Lions live post-game show here in Ford Field. It was nice to be back at home for the first time in 23 days.
Wow, you've been counting them too,
I've been counting. Now we got to go back on the road.
All right, that's what we're road warriors, Danny. Let's do it.
All right, Week 16 at the Minnesota Vikings. But for now, the final score from Ford Field, 42-17. Detroit getting a big-time win over those Denver Broncos. Thanks for tuning in. That's Lomas Brown. I'm Dannie Rogers. We'll see you next week in Minneapolis.